Hello. So today I thought I would do my first video on this Universal UK Bedford Park. I know like millions of people are doing videos, and I didn't want to do anything until I was sure it was going to happen, because I don't like all this speculation. I followed it a lot on different groups, videos, and when they bought, I've been following it for, well, as soon as it was announced that they bought the land, because I did the same with Epic Universe. I'm a member of like Theme Park Stop, Orlando Informer, and those ones. As soon as land is bought by a big company like Comcast or somewhere like Disney or whatever, they will find out and they put it up there. Obviously, a lot of people know now that Comcast bought it under a different name, just because they don't want anybody to know in the beginning, because they're doing feasibility studies, and it could get, people get too excited and make a big fuss. They want to keep it quiet, and they spent 200 and something million on this land. So I think I'm going to do a series of videos, and this first one, I think I'm going to do like the difference between UK theme parks and the theme parks in America, because I'm lucky enough to be, well, if you look at it like, for example, you've got a boxer like Lennox Lewis. He's a pugilist specialist, yeah? So I'm going to call myself the theme park thespian, because I've been going to Florida and California. I'm lucky enough to be going for over 30 years, like many times now. And so I thought it'd be quite good. If there's English people who have never been, people from Britain who have never been to the American parks, and there might be Americans watching this who have never been to the UK parks. So I thought this would be a good thing to start off with. And I'll do other ones. I'll do about I think about the concept. I will do videos about how this is going to affect, how I think it'll affect Merlin, how it'll work for families. There's loads of videos that I think I'm going to do on this. But this first one, I'll take you back, way back. It'd be like a dream sequence. I'm not going to do editing and all that. We know where the screen goes like that. So back in the 70s, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and the UK parks. Well, even before that, my mum used to go to Chesington Zoo, like in the 40s or 50s with her brother, I think. Then it was just like a zoo, and then it became Chesington World of Adventures theme park. And when I was a kid, like I used to go, because my area where I'm from is London. The nearest ones would be Chesington World of Adventures, and it would be Thorpe Park. So when I was growing up, we'd go to Thorpe Park, and back then it was kind of like, I remember that as you go into Thorpe Park, you got the big dome, and then just the kind of hill slopes down. Before that, it was all grass, and you could like run down the grass, and they used to do like have tents there, medieval kind of people dressed up and stuff like that. And then when I got a bit older, I'd go, when I was like 17, I think I went in my car on my own, went up to Alton Towers, and I went to those parks. That's probably like 1991. And I've been to, where is it, in Chesington, they had the Vampire Ride, Professor Burp's Bubble Works, and there are all these theme parks in the UK. They're okay, and you don't know anything different. And then in 1990, let's go back even further. Like, so in the 70s and 80s, people in this country, they couldn't really afford, most people, they couldn't afford like going to somewhere like America, Florida or California. When I was a kid, a person might have said, I've just come back from the moon, I'm going to visit Mars, because it was like, what? You're going to America? It's like, most people couldn't afford it. People in those days would go on package holidays, like to Spain, places like that. My family, most of the time, my dad would drive to Italy, because that's where my dad's Italian, that's where his family were. So we get in the car, in the Volvo estate, 6 people, kids in the boot. There was no health and safety then, we drive all the way. So I remember one time, it must have been like just after Epcot had opened. When Epcot opened, 82, 84, around about that time, just after Epcot had opened. I was in primary school, and this kid, he came back, it must have been about 84, 83, something like that. He came back and he was saying about, he'd just been to America, and he had Epcot t-shirt, and we were all like, wow. It was like, he just said he'd been to the moon. We just like, our jaws had dropped, and we were like, oh my God, we couldn't believe it. And then later on in like secondary school, some other kid had gone to California, and he'd come back and he had these new trainers. Back then, you know, trainers, it was like a big thing. Sneakers, Americans call them, don't they? Don't you? So, and he'd come back with these new ones. You couldn't get them in this country. It's like everybody's crowding around him with that kind of stuff. So my family couldn't afford that back then. We didn't have, you know, like most people working class, didn't have much money. We had a business antique shop and that. We had enough money to go to places like, you know, further away. And then started to do all right. Had a restaurant and making money, doing good business. And then for my parents' 25th wedding anniversary, my dad said to Mum, "Where do you want to go?" And she said, "I want to go to Florida." And so it's supposed to be just them two. And then somehow my mum persuaded my dad to let me go as well. And at first he said, no. And in the end he said, "Okay, let me come with us." So this was 1992. Well, that was 2 years, I think, after the 25th wedding anniversary. So I don't know why it took so long. So we went for 3 weeks in 1992. I think it was around about February, March time, because I think they were on spring break. And we went for 3 weeks. We did a fly drive with TWA. They've defunct now. They went out of business. And we did I think we did a stop. Where did we stop? Somewhere, was it? Was it Minnesota or somewhere? I can't remember where it was. St. Louis. Yeah, it was St. Louis, I think. So we did a stop because it was cheaper and it was like a fly drive. And we got there. I remember we got this. It was Hertz, I think. And then they've got a little placemat with the hire cars you could choose from. And my dad, like, he was a businessman. He did really well in life, making money and that. And he was always trying to save money. So he said, "No, Damian, this is the car we have," because Italian accent. And it was some little car, like a mini Metro or some tiny little car. I was like, please, Dad, please, can we have the convertible? I think it's a Pontiac Firebird, a white one. And he's going, no. And then when he realised the upgrade really wasn't that much at all, he said, "All right, okay." So we had that car, 2-door convertible. It was amazing. And when, you know, we got off the plane, we got in the car, and we stayed in, I think, for the first night, the Holiday Inn International Drive. And then the next night we stayed at another hotel across the road called the MIC Lakefront Inn, right? And it's still there, but I think it's Ramada now. And it's right by where Wet and Wild used to be. And they had a lake there where you could, like, you hold onto the thing, it would pull you round. And then we used to watch people doing bungee. I remember from the hotel. So we stayed at the hotel across the road because it was a lot, he got a deal. My dad got a deal. He's always, like, trying to do deals with people and stuff like that. So, oh, Jesus. So we were out there, and then another funny story. You go along, right, and there'd be these little huts along the road. Along the International Drive, I remember seeing these little huts, and it was free theme park tickets and stuff like that. So my dad, always trying to find a bargain, he went up to this hut, and the guy there said, yeah, free theme park tickets. And in them days, I think a ticket to, like, Universal and Disney was like $30, something like that. $30, $40. It wasn't that expensive. And the guy said, yeah, you have to go to watch this presentation, a timeshare presentation down in, I think it was in Kissimmee. And once, you know, you go and sit and they give you the tickets at the end. So my dad wasted the whole bloody day. One day we got there and it was the hard sell for about 4 or 5 hours, man. They're trying to pressure my dad to buy a timeshare, and I was left in this room where they had these arcade games that were there with crap, like falling apart. And in the end, I remember that they're trying to pressure my dad. My dad's, "No, so I have to speak to my accountant." And they said, "Oh, if you just give us 10,000 deposit now." So he kept saying, no, sorry, I have to wait to speak. So in the end, they gave us the tickets, but we'd wasted the whole bloody day, man, at this stupid presentation. So then we went to, we did Disney, we did Universal, we did SeaWorld, we did Busch Gardens, and everywhere. I was like, what happened would be, my parents were in their 50s and I was 18 then, and I'd go off on my own. I would go off on my own all day, and I'd meet them at the end of the day. And it was like brilliant, because I just got, and the parks, maybe because of the time of year, but they were not as busy as they are nowadays. Because I've been, like, multiple times. I've been double-digit times since then. Because, like, since that first time I went, I love it so much. I even got married. My wife and I, we got married out there. Well, Cypress Gardens, which is now part of Legoland in Florida. So, yeah, I'll take you back. Go back to 1992. So we went to Disney, Universal, and I was like, oh my effing hell! It was so incredible. And I remember when I came back, I was raving to everyone about Back to the Future ride. That's why I'm wearing this Back to the Future T-shirt, because it's an exciting day for me. So I was going nuts to everyone saying, the theme parks over here, they're nothing in comparison. And I still say now, that Back to the Future ride, it's such a shame they got rid of it. Was it about 2007, 8? Or 2013? It was sometime around. They got rid of it, but they've still got the train, the flying train from part 3 that's still there. When I came back, I was saying to people, this is just the most incredible thing ever. And the rides out there, there's nothing that can touch it. And I still say now that Back to the Future ride from 1992 is still better than anything we got here. I mean, I remember when in Thorpe Park, they did this Darren Brown ride. I don't know if you've seen or you've been on it. It was absolutely shit. Ghost train thing, yeah. You go on it and sit in it, and then you have to wear these glasses. But the glasses, the VR on it, it was so crap. It's like PS1 quality. It was just rubbish. And the staff would go along trying to touch you on it, and what a waste of money. I don't know if that's still there, but still, there's nothing in this country now that can compare to that Back to the Future ride. And when I went there, they had Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I think is that Minions now. It was Shrek 4D, and I think it's Minions. That was really good. It's the art of movie making. They had Murder She Wrote, like a sound stage thing where they show you how they make the sounds of films, like people walking on. It's brilliant. And there's loads of things that I'm going to talk about because of my experiences and how they differ, how the parks differ. And there's a lot of people saying, "Oh my no, what in this our weather's not good enough for a Florida theme park." I'll go on to that. I'm going to do another video on that. But this is just to show you that I got experience in all this. So, I've been like all throughout the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and the last time, it was too long now, it was 5 years ago. We came back on February the 14th, 2020. And then just after that, everything was shut down, COVID. So we were lucky. If our holiday, we went from, how long did we go for? I think that was nearly 4 weeks. And then the time before 2017 was like incredible because we went for 5 weeks. And we just did everything. We did all the Halloween Horror Nights. We did Howler Scream, everything. It's just incredible. I've done the, there's another comparison. They do the equivalent of Halloween Horror Nights over here. I did the one at Thorpe Park. I remember one day I drove, because I don't live in London anymore. I live up north now. And we drove down and we did this like Thorpe Park, their version of Horror Nights. I don't know what if they call it. It's absolute shit in comparison. It's just not. I mean, the way they do it in America, it's just incredible. So for the people who have never been to a theme park in America, either they can't afford it or they've never, had the chance. You watch when this park opens, you're going to be absolutely blown away out of your mind. Your head's going to explode like you're eating popping candy, because it's just going to be like, wow. And the park hours are going to be incredible. So I'm going to end this video now, and I'll probably film another one talking about something else to do with the parks.